I often think how important strategy actually is. I think that I study it, right? So I'm a strategy professor or whatever. I sort of study this kind of stuff for a long time, and I think about, you know, um, what's important with what we're actually doing. And one of the sort of flaws that we have, and it's hard to to sort of navigate this, but we only have data of people or organizations that have tried. And because of that, um, we almost always will then look at, given that we tried, given that you spent resources, what was the impact of strategy? And then we ultimately have this sort of larger impact. We can sort of see that there's big impact it has, right? So this coordinated effort, the sort of projection into the future where things are going to go, coordinated effort, getting different stakeholders aligned so that you can tackle a bigger problem. But the issue is, in my experience, is that you need to actually have the resources expended. You need to actually get out there and do something. You need to perform actions. You need to try and waste resources before you can actually look at the effective strategy and what you're actually doing, right? So I think what we're doing is sampling the data in such a way that we're almost biasing to get an effective strategy. If you were to compare based on, did you just perform an effort? And it doesn't matter what that strategy was, whether it was doing something that was sort of low cost focused, or you were doing product differentiation. It doesn't matter what kind of strategy that you choose and what you're looking at. But if you were to simply look at, did you expend resources? Did you make investments? Right? And that's really what it is, expending resources in different areas. It doesn't matter what those areas are. Did you expend those resources? And if you did, I'd almost guarantee by expending those resources, I almost guarantee that you're going to see a very positive effect of trying, getting out there and putting in a little bit of effort today, trying one more day, getting out, putting it in, taking a step into the unknown where nobody else is doing these things, being afraid every day, taking one more step, looking at, people are going to laugh at me, doing all these kind of things. Did you actually do that? Did you actually try to take a step? Did you put the resources in? Did you waste resources where you're like, well, this is gone. If I invest in this, it's gone, and I don't know if I'm going to get it back. So if you were to look at that, right, and you were to account for that, first of all, you're going to see probably a wide variance in people actually doing that. Most people are not going to do it, right? You think about the number of people that will invest in, I don't know, maybe invest in Subway or invest in Wendy's. If you were to say that, hey, you have X number of dollars to spend, um, like an average person, a normal person, and you said, I have $20,000, and that $20,000 is contributing to a boat, which is what most people will spend their money on, right? Something like that, frivolous, or spending money on building a business and contributing to building a business, building an organization, whatever that looks like. If you were to look at that, you'd almost always see that most people just do not invest in building a business, whatever that looks like, right? But then even when you just sample on the ones that just do a moderate amount of that and continuously do that, I bet you would see an effect. I bet you'd almost always see a very positive effect, and it doesn't matter what the strategy actually is. As long as you're trying, as long as you're taking those steps into the unknown, as long as you relentlessly keep trying. Right? So here's the thing. What You might be relentlessly trying on something, and you might have a strategy, right? You might think, oh, I'm going to do product differentiation. Well, if you relentlessly try and you pursue it, you'll eventually realize that that product differentiation does not work, and then you'll find a different strategy that sort of fits, right? And if you repeatedly do that, I almost strongly believe that you will find something, right? And this is putting more of an emphasis on less on the sort of static strategy, how you might sort of imagine it to be, right? I'm going to execute on the strategy, right? And I'm going to say, instead, I'm just going to say, hey, I'm going to learn along the way. I'm going to pursue this thing, and I'm going to pursue some strategy, whatever it is. It's probably wrong, but I'm going to keep taking those steps forward. And I'm going to just bumble into it and see what actually works. See what is the right strategy for the time, for what's going on, and grow it from there, right? And then actually turn it into something from there. And I think if you were to actually look at that, you would find less of an effect of strategy itself, more of an effect of just behavior, of just doing busy work, just trying, pursuing, nonstop, seeing what's happening. And you do that over and over and over again, you're going to have something. And I think that's an interesting sort of argument for me, and it's an interesting thing for you to sort of think about. Like, what can I do? What does my world look like that I can improve? And just kind of do things, whatever those things are. And I think if you start doing that, you don't worry so much about, like, what is my strategy? I'm going to freak out if I don't get this right, but I'm just going to pursue this and try every day. All right, take care and have a wonderful day.